Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Esports Analysis. Today we're hopping back on board with Scump as he and the boys from the Chicago Huntsmen take on Apathy, Enable, Octane, Slacked, and Karma from the Seattle Surge. As we go ahead and hop into this here, we are playing hardpoint on the map St Petrograd. One thing that I do want to say is that Chicago ends up winning this game by about 30 points or so. So as we go ahead and break through and break down this analysis, I will point out here and there the things that Huntsmen do right. And remember, 20 points can easily go one way or another, so sometimes it's just those super clutch kills that end up being the difference between winning a map and losing a map. Just like with some other episodes we've mentioned right here at the beginning, this first hill, while it's important, if you can get 10, 15, or 20 point lead or so, that's great, but the most important thing is setting up spawns for the second hill. As Seth goes ahead and goes down there, what you're going to see when he spawns in is that they've already flipped spawns. So this is the side of the first hill that you want to be in so that you have the beneficial spawn going into the second hill. In the top right hand corner, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up a map, and from this you can see that there are going to be two spawns. One of them, which is where Seth is at right now, that's considered bar spawn, is far more beneficial than being on the other side, which is considered water spawn. Reason being is that if you're spawning bar, not only are there multiple ways that you can get into the hardpoint, but you also have a little bit of cover. There are a couple head glitches in which you can shoot the other team as they run down that back flank. As we hop back into the gameplay here, just talking about where Seth is at, you can kind of see why this is such a beneficial place to spawn. He dies again, and when he comes back up, he's still going to be only 15-20 feet away from the hill. He could run 2 seconds just like he did right there, and he's already in the hill. Now, as we start thinking forward here, there's about 30 seconds left in the hard point, so right now there's around 25, and this is the time where you want to start sending a person or two to leak out, because the third hard point is on the entire other side of the map, and right now they don't have anybody close to that side of the map. But if you're watching Scump right here and you're looking at the mini-map, you can start to see all the blue arrows kind of leave the side that they were on, and they're pushing up back towards the middle of the map there. There was just a slight view right there. You couldn't really see it too much, but the left side, so the little dots in front of Seth right here, you can see that they're already leaking out. As we go ahead and move ahead into the third hardpoint, you can see that now Huntsmen are behind the ball. They didn't exactly get to leak out in time. They didn't win that spawn. So right now, Huntsmen, as they come up, they're still going to spawn on this side of the map. And if we look at the map in the top right-hand corner, there are two spawns. You can either spawn behind 3, or you can spawn kind of right in the middle where 5 is at. Now, as we go ahead and we get a little bit further along into this match, one thing that I do want to point out is that as you go towards the fourth hardpoint, St. Petrograd's a little bit different because the fourth hardpoint is essentially almost directly where the second hardpoint was. Remember when we were in that second hardpoint, we said we wanted to spawn bar? Well, the fourth hardpoint is in bar, so the spawns for this are almost the exact same. For fourth, you want to go ahead and you want to still hold down that side of the map. So if you can push through, if you can contest, that's great. But if you hold down spawns on this side of the map for essentially the whole game, you can afford to give up 30 or 35 or 40 points on this hardpoint that they were currently in, because now you're in position to capture all 60 points for 2 and all 60 points for 4. Now that the hardpoint has went ahead and it's rotated into that fourth one, you can see that the flag at the top is totally blue. So while they gave up about 35 points on that second hardpoint, it's not going to make much of a difference because now they're in position to gain all of those points back. And if you can keep that margin as you're heading towards the end of the match, that's how you end up winning these games. One other thing that I like to point out here is that communication between these teams is just massive. The team that communicates the best and that's up and that's energetic and just has the most moxie behind them is usually the team that ends up winning. So with that being said, the fifth hardpoint is right in the middle. The fifth hardpoint is just like the first hardpoint. Side doesn't really matter all that much, although you do want to hold down these bar spawns just so that when you go to 1, it doesn't really matter that much. And then when you go to 2, you have spawns for 2 and 4. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to jump into a listen in here just because you can hear how much is going on and just how much information you're getting from the players. So with that, let's go ahead. Seth right now is going ahead, and that's the fifth hardpoint. Let's go ahead and listen in for this one.
I'm trying to.
I naded front.
We can heal.
I killed that.
I can kill him.
I'm dead.
I killed that.
Apps top.
Dead top restaurant. You're good.
Could be flanking.
Mid tracks. Yeah, I don't have that. A few of them. I got one. Another one.
Yeah, they're gonna spawn
on me.
second.
Enable backdoor.
Yeah, I don't have bench.
He's
Middle mid tracks right now. Flash.
Just in.
I've got back door.
Pass dead. One more.
Front door.
One more mid track somewhere. Mid-track, Sam, wait, left
Trying
side.
to get the nail. Trying to get the nail. Yo, there's spawning new, there's spawning new.
One under blue.
Oh, one under blue.
Oh, sorry.
Mid-track. Up under blue, good job.
No, push that back bar. He's on the car.
One shot, Damon.
This kill feed bad or
Absolute.
bad?
Texas.
I killed off. I
I live here too.
Smoke by Damon. I'm going back up.
God damn it.
I think I'm pushing through, guys. I think I'm pushing through. No.
They cut pinch to the right. I don't have
Need it
that.
front.
Rotate it back to bar.
I got ass.
Okay, good.
One top bar, I'm waiting.
Top bar.
He dropped off, he's in the corner.
Area.
Dead.
Great.
Smoking the
Maybe
car.
play a little bit quicker.
Arches.
Hey,
I'm one shot.
Got one more
Let's
arches.
go, Dill.
Coming tool. I'm one shot.
One right.
I have it.
Middle.
Here's you.
You guys
In small door.
Wow, that's an
Okay,
apple.
crash right, nothing cross
And
right.
the cat's out.
Rotate it.
Damon's not middle. Damon's not middle.
Spawn back bar.
Back
though.
up.
Got
boxes,
pressure on
back
these
boxes.
tracks under blue, tracks and under blue.
Yeah, two
on him.
Got one bar.
He's in
Under
small.
blue,
There's
under
three
blue.
at all,
Wait,
three
right.
at
I'm trying to make it right.
Small pushed out. I got him. There's one more at all.
Right,
Right,
right
right,
now,
right.
right. He's right.
He pushed me.
River.
On me,
I'm good. I feel like good.
cross to the right.
He's hotel right now.
Demon tracks. I'm not.
Courtyard.
Help, Dill. I got flash.
Courtyard dead. One more courtyard.
Top bar right now.
You have a Dill?
Yeah, he's in here though. He's in here front door.
Flash.
Front.
Did we kill court?
Front.
Slack he went to the right. Slack went to the right.
Got him on.
Got me, bro. He's in hotel.
Slack right back. Back right.
Front. Two front now.
Bar.
That's right.
Probably dead.
All right, so now is where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hop back on board with you. Right now you can see that Huntsmen, they also not only gave up a lot of that time in the first hill, but just for a moment there, they took one spawn on that bad side, and now you can see Seth is back to this bar spawn. When you spawn on the water over there, it's just really hard to get back into the hard point. So luckily, a good team like this is really aware of what's happening with spawns, and now you can see Seth is up again, and he's still spawning on this side. But this is where that game got really close. If you look in the kill feed, there's 7 straight kills, 8 straight kills from Seattle. So that lead, which was once 80 or 90 points, is all the way down to 20. By the time this hill's up, there's only going to be about 14 seconds left. So this lead is going to be down all the way to 10 or 12 points here. And as we go ahead and we rotate, that's another thing that I want to point out is you can have the best spawns in the world, you can have the best map knowledge, you can have everything set up perfectly, but if you don't slay out, if you're a team that just can't slay as good as a different one, then the game's probably not going to go very well for you. You could see in that last hill, Chicago was set up perfectly. They got slayed out, and then they went ahead and they flipped. Now, as we're back here to this third hill, you can see that they're about to lose spawns again. So not only did they lose spawns in that second hill, now they're spawning back in the middle. When this third hill, you want the spawns that are backed by ambulance. Now, what was once, again, that 90-point lead, this is going to be all but evaporated here because right now they're just not killing and they don't have spawns set up for this third hill. As we go ahead and we take a peek at the mini map in the top left hand corner, you can see that while Seth is running towards the hill, there are 2 blue arrows behind him setting up spawns for next. So essentially there's 10-12 seconds left in this one. They're just giving it up. They're just going to give it up. They're going to take a 15-point deficit into the next hill so that they have spawns, and then hopefully they can max this one out, right? They're only 50 points away from winning here. So if they can max out a hill, that'll be all that she wrote. Now, in these pro games like this, that really doesn't happen that often. These pros are so good that getting blanked by somebody, it just doesn't happen. Especially in this game with the added addition of smoke. So since you can throw smoke and kind of smoke off cuts and then run into different entries into hard points, it just doesn't happen that much. But as you can see, we're down to these couple hills here, these last couple hills, and the onslaught is on. So there's no more trying to fight for spawns, and there's no more, setting up map control. One team has one side of the spawns, the other team has the other side, and if you're a Seattle Surge fan right now, and if you're in that locker room or if you're on that team, what you have to do right now is you just have to contest, because if you don't contest, then Chicago could have won on that last hill. So as we go ahead and we focus in on this last hill here, remember, it's crunch time here, so nothing matters except trying to win your gun battles in the hill. Luckily, one other thing that I will point out is that even though Chicago has that back spawn, look at the mini map right now. There are blue arrows, or there were. They just died. I forget who that was. I can't really see. Maybe it was Formal, but there was somebody pushed out towards the center of the map. So if you can push out a little bit further than the hill and you can get the cut where the enemy team is coming from, that's super important. Maybe I'll go over that in a separate video because that's really important. knowing what your cuts are and knowing where they are and how to hold those down, where the enemy team's coming from. But to finish this game out, right now Chicago's in the hard point. It does get contested 1 or 2 different times. That guy goes down, and that's all she wrote. So with that, guys, my channel has been growing like crazy. I think this is the best growth that it's ever had. So if you're new around here and this is your first time checking out a video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, I will catch you in the next edition of Esports Analysis. See ya.